Himnaryo po ng tinatawag na mga kaanib, Iglesia ng Diyos kay Kristo Jesus, haligi at saligan ng katotohanan sa bansang Pilipinas. Ang babasahin po natin ay himnaryo nila, kaya dito po ay meron pang picture. Ayan, sana makunan po ng ating direktor. Ayan, yan po ang larawan ni Mr. Eliseo Fernando Soriano. Dito po sa kanyang himnaryo, sa page 72, ay ganito ang mababasa po natin sa kanilang himnaryo. Dalagat binatang Kristiyano. Ito po. O kabataan, huwag na tayong mangag-asawa. Malapit ang kawakasan ng mga ligtas sa parusa. Dito po mismo sa himnaryo, awit na kinapapalooban po ng samahang ang dating daan, bawal po sa kanila ang pag-aasawa. Batay po sa Biblia, kapatid na Diyos. Kaninong aral po ang pagbabawal ng pag-aasawa? Aral po ng Diyos o aral ng demonyo?
Yan po ay aral ng demonyo, kapatid na Michael. Kaya hindi lang pala ang Iglesia Katolika ang nagtataguyod ng aral ng demonyo, kundi maging ang grupo ni Ginoong Eliseo.
There is no such law for all who are not servant of God not to marry. The 1 Corinthians 7 verse 27 to 29 was just misunderstood by those who do and or bigot, as was so clear in 1 Timothy 4 verse 1 to 4. Like as the INCM also misunderstood the law not to marry who are not co-believers, so they prohibited their women not to marry who are not co-believers. But not all are following their law, so I say as other religion if their members not following such laws, that is hypocrisy. The law not to marry not co-believers are only meant to those who are of weak faith or now ready to die for the Lord, that might they be influenced by the religion of the unbelievers, or they be scared by them. For if it is totally prohibited, why God is always permitting Solomon to marry unbelievers, because God hopes that Solomon could lead the women to God. See, when Moses was assailed by his siblings of marrying unbelievers, they would have been punished by God. Besides Moses' gods, as Moses remained to his faith with that woman, but around Solomon was condemned by God. Unlike Moses and the others, as there is a law, if anyone has a slave woman and marries her, if he doesn't like it anymore is because she did not accept God, or not following the law, he must release her accordingly. As I've said, sects are not gods, they just studied the scripture. They have no knowledge of the secret of the kingdom of heaven, or of the true messages of the scripture. As a result, they just misinterpreting the writings in the Bible. Roman Catholic Church has no doctrine not to marry, and does about priests not to marry. It is not prohibition, for why if they marries, it was not judged to be sin. It is not God's law for a priests not to marry. It is just a suggestion by the management of the priesthood, as if anyone can't accept it, then he will not be permitted to be a priest. The prohibition not to marry for the servants of God is a wall of God. As was called eunuch, or was casually stated, some were born eunuch or not to marry so to serve God, some were made to be eunuchs by God or by the servants of God, and some chose to be eunuchs. So these bigot or this INCM who accuses the priests or the RCC to be of a demons of making the servants of God to be eunuchs, so as he accuses God and Jesus as demons, commits blasphemy.